Great Britain, an ancient land of pagan ritual, the monarchy, the fake tan, cricket, and most importantly, heavy metal. My name's Jesse Hughes, and I was sitting here in LA reminiscing about the last series of On the Road, where I investigated the role of the roadie in rock and roll, and it hit me what my next project should be. Since my first musical love is Black Sabbath, I was thinking, how did these guys from Birmingham, England start a whole genre? And what was it about that part of the world? I smell a pilgrimage. Amen. A heavy metal pilgrimage to the UK, no less. And it needs to start right now.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
So, I'm off on a mission of rock and roll discovery to the UK to unearth the roots of Black Sabbath and the scene they spawned. I need to meet the bands. I need to meet the roadies, the groupies, the rock professors. I want to go to the places these bands grew up, practiced, recorded, drank, and passed out. Before I leave for London, there's one man I need to meet. One of my all-time musical heroes, the man who formed the backbeat of the band that changed my life, the swinging dick himself, the one and only Mr. Bill Ward.
Have you here today so that we can talk about the birth of heavy metal and Black Sabbath as the creators of it. What is it about the Midlands that produced this unique situation?
This is the heart and soul of industry. And when it rained, it was just dirty. And it's everything that you need to have as far as thinking about vampires or thinking about just everything, man.
When did you decide you wanted to make rock and roll?
When I heard Little Richard stuff.
Right.
Everybody coming out of American rock and roll just turned me on so much that I just couldn't stop listening to it.
He's my hero. Little Richard's my favorite. Lucille.
Lucille. That was dark to me.
Yeah, it is dark. I think it is. So you were able to see a darkness in the rock and roll a little bit and get in touch with it. I want to jump to the first Black Sabbath album. That album's heavier than anything. Did you guys realize it at the time that you were onto something?
We knew it was different because at the time, most people didn't like the music and most people were scared by it. When we played Black Sabbath, man, every bit of anger came out of us. There was no mercy for my drum kits. No mercy. I would just stand on those cymbals, man.
What do you think that the difficulty in accepting the music at first was? I mean, there's been some suggestions that it had something to do with class.
I honour our music by calling it working class music.
Right.
I always consider Black Sabbath the first punk band. They were thoughtful lyrics, but at the same time, they were different.
Right.
And they were topical. And I think people had a tough time admit that they just didn't like the subject matter.
Right.
And that's where some of the things from other realms, if you like, or devil music or whatever, that's where some of that started to show.
When you guys were making it, it was heavy rock.
Yeah, it was hard rock.
It was hard rock.
Yeah, I was very proud of that.
When did the heavy metal label get attached to it?
That was when Rolling Stone did it. You know, because we were all looking around, scratching our heads and going, what's heavy metal?
Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction.
So I'm going to be going to England. and I'm going to be heading to Birmingham. And
Great.
when I get to England, I'm going to be catching up with bands like QUARTZ.
Yeah.
Did you ever play with those guys?
Yeah.
What did you think of? I mean,
Oh, they're just the guys, you know.
yeah.
You know, we learned from each other. Real solid players. Also, try to make the journey from Birmingham to the Black Country. There were so many fantastic bands that came through.
I want to head to like Rockfield.
Oh, great.
Do you have any memories of?
Oh, that's like my home. We did our second album at Rockfield. Back in the day, you know, we were getting high. You know, so, you know, it's great at midnight, you know, in the middle of nowhere. And we wrote a lot of really good stuff, which is still to this day unreleased.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe one day something will happen with it, but who knows?
So I'm also going to get a chance to meet with Cynthia Plastercaster. She's the young lady who went around casting Jimi Hendrix's genitalia and then, like all the rockers. Do you think hijinks like that are important to the whole rock and roll fabric?
It's part of it. It's part of all the good stuff. It's part of all the drama.
Right.
It's all part of rock and roll. I think the girls are really important, you know.
Any wild memories from the road?
The first thing that comes to mind right now, for some reason, is being nude in the fountain at King's Cross in Sydney, Australia. I'll give you one guess who was in the fountain with me.
Ozzy.
In the daytime as well, I might say so. And being arrested.
Yeah, I have heard some stories about practical jokes amongst the band.
But it's been like that since we were kids.
Because there's kind of a famous one of you walking into the studio and Tony Iommi going, "Hey Bill, can I light your leg on fire?" And you're like, "Well, let me do my bit first." And then you're leaving, and as you're leaving, you're like jokingly say, "Hey, did you still want to light my leg on fire?" And they lit your leg on fire, and it burned you really bad.
Yes, that one didn't work. But the previous times when he'd lit me on fire, we knew how to roll out. So we had it down. It was like a little show that we would do.
But do you have any regrets?
There have been some very uncomfortable situations in the last 6 months.
Right.
We'll see how that works out, you know, but I stand for myself today. So as much as I love them,
Do you still want to keep going? What do you want to do?
I'll always play. That's my life. If there's some longevity with Black Sabbath, then I'd like to be a part of it. I want to play hard rock music, you know. I want to play loud drums. I love playing with Terry. I love playing with Oz. And I love playing with Tony. You know, when Tony opens up with huge chords, man, I still get the same shiver up my back that I got when we were 18-year-old kids. It ain't gone away. It's still there. You know, I feel really, really fortunate that I've been able to have music in my heart and my soul.
Whew, what a man, Mr. Bill Ward. I've learned so many things from him. I've learned the power of humility, the power of rock and roll, and the fury and anger that is the boogie woogie. And so with his blessing, I head to the airport with a notebook full of amazing places and people to visit and a total rock and roll boner in my pants. I'm talking about places like Aston, the Black Country, bands like QUARTZ, Diamond Head, a studio called Rockfield. You know what I need from you, my friends? I need y'all to wish me luck. Pray for me.